Hi guys, it's Shaman. It's a live video here from Minnesota, and I'm stopping by letting the dogs out for a little bit before my 2 o'clock client out here. I'll let you take kind of a little bit of a look. And there's Pablo, who's starting to freeze. Just a couple bites about thyroid. Welcome, bless up. I'll be able to answer any questions later because I'm out here and my hands are a little cold. As you know, I wrote a book called Detox and Heal Your Thyroid. And I end up doing a lot of consultations about hair, health, fibromyalgia, cancer, and recently ALS, as well as Hashimoto's and Graves' disease. So, how did it start? Well, I was conceived at October 31st, 1960, Cupertino, California, my mom and dad, and I was born July the 18th, 1961. I'm 56 years young. I have a ton of energy and I accomplish a lot of things every day. What people didn't know back then, maybe a few did, was that we were being radiated with nuclear atomic experimentation that was being done on people. That was an ionizing radiation known as I-131, and it eats and destroys your thyroid gland. Now, what's important to know about that is the worst possible exposure you can have is when you're inside of the mother, you're in the womb, and that's what happened to me. A lot of women experience symptoms in their childhood like I did, and you might have too. And in my book, I don't go on and on because nobody wants to read a book about a thyroid. But they do want to pick up a book that's going to help them. So, symptoms that came up that could have helped me had to do with this. So make a note in case any of these apply to you. I was born breech, which means I came out feet first. Today, doctors are directing more and more women into cesarean sections if they do a medicalized birth, which I don't recommend. I had photophobia, which means that when I look into the sun, I often have to squint. I'm going to set my smoothie down here, my beautiful green smoothie that I brought, and it's cold. It's about 15 degrees. So, breech-born, feet first, photophobia. Couldn't stare directly at the sun. Whoop, Pablo's getting too cold. Let me put him in the car. Hold on, guys. We're gonna get Pablo with his camo jacket. Okay, all right. Now I can focus a little bit more because he gets cold really quickly. Photophobia, breech birth. It could be a low birth weight. I was a little over 6 pounds. That could have also been that my mother was a cigarette smoker. Back then it wasn't looked at so disparagingly. Throughout the few physical exams that I had growing up, my blood pressure was low. My body temperature was low. My heaters weren't turned on. That created a slower metabolism, and that was evidence that I was already brewing a thyroid problem. Now, you might be waiting for your doctor or your endocrinologist to confirm that you have a thyroid problem, and you might be waiting too long. Many times I stop by and I say, I can see a thyroid problem in your family. And people say, nope, we have heart, we have rheumatoid arthritis, we have this and we have that. We don't have thyroid problems. I'm going to check on the dogs. Thank you. But in fact, underneath what my aunt had, okay, rheumatic fever, was developmental issues that had to do with the heart. And many of the men in your family are being diagnosed with things like tachycardia, which means they have a rapid beating heart, or they can't sleep at night. And you go to the doctor, and the doctor wants to give you what? Sleeping pills, or like some families call them, sleeping medication. That's not a medication. That's called drugging our people. And the window is closing, so I'm going to be reaching out to you more. And I'm going to hope and I'm going to pray that you share these videos. Because about 35 years ago, I started going down the proverbial rabbit hole, and my mouth is getting cold. It's 15 degrees. But I went down a very long ways. It's hard for me to have looked at the medical industry the way that the majority of the people do, and many of the other industries, for lots of obvious reasons. If you had low body temperature, low blood pressure, photophobia, maybe you didn't even realize how much you squint when you look up at the sun or the light. Maybe you were breech-born. Maybe you were left-handed. You might seriously consider reading the book and finding out what you need to do so that you can stave off the inevitable, which is ending up with a neurodegenerative, a heart, a brain like Alzheimer's, tachycardia, heart attack, or other sets of symptoms. There are 300 to 400 sets of symptoms that have to do with thyroid disease, and I don't want you to have to suffer. I want to show you what you can do. So I'm going to send you love, blessings. There's much knowledge coming. Share it up. Let's do this thing together. One love.